It's certainly a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I'd like to start by just pondering for a second that wonderful quote that the only way to predict the future is to invent it. For me, that quote made me think the next sentence, and the only way to invent the future is to, and I struggled to finish it. I would finish it by saying the only way to invent the future is to first imagine it. But if anyone listening has an idea on a better way to complete that sentence, I know I'd be very interested in it. The world of color is complex and very, very large. Everywhere you look and see color, it has been either naturally produced or manufactured. But think about the color-consuming industries. There's textiles, cosmetics, plastics. There's printing inks and publications like magazines and newspapers. And then there's the huge array of packaging. There's coatings for automobiles and architectural and industrial coatings and roofs and ceramics, industrial coatings, concrete, and agriculture. Even seeds get color. So really, we are talking about a very, very complex and wonderful industry. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about product stewardship, because as we talk color and color trends, we're living in an environment where there is a tremendous focus on product stewardship. The recent problem with lead in toys highlights the importance of product safety, product stewardship, global compliance, respect for the environment, and workplace safety. I don't think any brand owner wants to be associated with a problem that would jeopardize either the people who make their product or the people that use their product. So a very important decision in the color that one selects and the color one uses has to be its impact on the environment. As part of the environmental movement, we're all very keenly tuned into the impact of global warming. And the response to global warming is certainly to cut back in the use of fossil fuels, which means a cutback in energy. And well, how does that affect color? In retail environments, we're seeing a shift away from conventional lighting to highly efficient energy-saving lights. Well, color doesn't look the same under these lights. It looks different. Certain colors look more different than others, I can tell you. In the picture shown here, you have the very same package in the very same blue under 3 different lighting conditions. I think that you can see that one on one side looks far greener than the one on the far other side. Now, if you really want your product to look the same, and I think most manufacturers and brand owners do, you really want to convey a feeling of consistency. And so perhaps you work very carefully with your package designer and your printing ink maker to make sure you've selected a color that will translate. Color trends are impacted by the green movement. The package shown here is a recyclable carton. The color selected is a natural color, kind of a champagne color that reinforces the message of the safe and recyclable, environmentally responsible package. But environmental themes aren't limited to muted colors and platinum-type colors and beiges. There are bright colors of nature, as Julie pointed out earlier. We're seeing a shift in color, and the bright colors are going to tend to mirror the environment. You can take bright colors that are very reminiscent of real environmental colors, and we're seeing more of that. A very interesting trend is just being reported now that for the first time in many years, silver has been replaced in the automotive industry by white. But interestingly, according to Karen Sorsina of DuPont Color Marketing and Marketing Technology, the shift is largely to the pearlized whites, and one of the things that makes them very attractive is the way that they absorb and reflect color. So again, color, even in white, is an important factor. We're also seeing an increase in the use of red. Color interplays with feel and touch. In other words, the tactile aspect of color. Certain colors go well with different feels. For example, when you think of velvet, you might think of a deep brown or a purple. Well, if you were going to use a tactile ink to reinforce that feeling, the color works very well with the package, as you can see in this haggis cookie box. The other container uses a textured ink to create a feeling to go with this can. And it's, again, you're seeing this trend, and you do match the color with the feel. Another very important color trend that I think that we're all very attuned to is the move toward mass customization. This is being enabled by digital print technology, and it allows brand owners to personalize their products into local markets, and the graphics can relate to local themes. Conventional printing is too costly to do this, but as we move toward the different platforms of digital printing, there's a tremendous demand on the technology for the color producer, because the performance requirements in the color for these platforms is far greater than in conventional printing. And as you move deeper into this type of mass customization, there is a need to get to these spot colors that really communicate the right feeling. And we will see more of that, at least that's my prediction. Now we move to different types. As we move and consider different types of color, we don't have time here to go through all the types, so I'd like to hit on some of the very important classes. First of all, there are high-performance pigments for use in high durability packaging for outdoor, longevity, and for low migration packaging. These can be inorganic pigments or very bright and durable organic pigments. But the takeaway is that if you're going to have a product that's going to be outside and last, you have to choose the color accordingly. That's not that surprising, is it? But the fact of the matter is, puts a tremendous stress on the color, and the cost to have a package fade is significant. I think that we all know when we look at a package in the store, if it's faded, we assume the contents are defective in some way, and very often the retailer is forced to put it on sale. There's a lot of R&D going on to improve high-performance pigments because people will pay for them, and that's a point I will come back on. Types of color include the bright classical pigments, organic pigments. This is in 80 or 90% of the packaging that we see. The cost of these products is significantly lower, and as a result, I would not predict to see an increase in the amount of this type of color. I think what we have is basically what we're going to have. Again, that's just my prediction. Types of color include metallic pigments. Metallic pigments is an area that's been growing for years. Metallic packaging conveys a feeling of quality, and it's used in many, many different areas. Pearlescent pigments. I can't say enough about pearlescent pigments because they have continued to grow each year. They give us these very, very beautiful interference colors and the pearlescent whites I referred to previously. They're used extensively in plastic containers for packages. They create luster and a feeling of richness, and there is a lot of research on new and improved types. Natural color. Now, natural color is kind of a subset, maybe a niche-y type area, but one that I think is particularly interesting is the use of the extract from the cochineal beetle, which is shown here. Those little white sacs are actually these little beetles, and if you